Namaste. So, today I am going to speak about India has a talent, but who decides that? Who can go global? And which system decides that? So, let me show you one story which happened last year, and it's a real story. So, just a year ago, something very strange, small, but a life changing thing happened in my life. I was traveling with my husband and daughter in Japan. Like most family trip, it was just a small excursion, observation, and a leisure trip. So one day we went for a shopping. I entered into a local store along with my husband and my daughter. So the aisle was full of neatly packed products. All were looking good. And at that time, my daughter asked a question, Mama, why does everything over here look so nice and clean? So that is something strange. Means she asked me that question, right? Then again, we started shopping. I picked few items which I liked from the shelves and putting it in the basket, just like every other parent. I was checking the quality and price tag and putting it in the basket. Then she again stopped, uh, kept out one of the product in her hand, and she just checked the label and said, "Mama, why does everything on this in these products said made in China or made in Japan?" She paused. Then she said, "Why it is not made in India?" That question stayed with me. Not because that was child's question, but that was the truth. That was a honest truth. India has talent. India has skills. India has artisans. But when when globe shops online, India is often invisible. We talk a lot about India becoming a $40 trillion economy in 2040, but we don't talk about global access because the gap is not capacity. The gap is access to global markets and the systems required to sustain it. I have seen this close up. I have seen manufacturers in tier 2 and tier 3 cities building a world class product, genuinely a world class product. But no one showed them a repeatable path. And that injustice bothered me because global business should not be limited to rich and wealthy. It should be the right of each and every Indian who want to sell product globally, because global business should not be the privilege of the people who knows English. Export should be the possible for anyone who built something worthy of being sold. That belief didn't come from theory, it come from my practical experience. 15 years ago, I didn't started with funding, I didn't started with confidence, I started with curiosity. A simple question: how online business works. Back then, e-commerce was not that glamorous. No fancy courses, no playbooks, nothing. We have to learn by breaking things, by fixing it, and by repeating again. At that time, I was not thinking about exports or scale. There was just a basic question in my mind: why some products survive and why some fail? Why some founders grow and others stuck? Then, almost unexpectedly, I got a chance to work with one of the seller in the UK. I was not hired because I knew everything. I was hired because I want to learn quickly and relentlessly. First time I saw beyond business beyond geography. I saw how online business works beyond geography. First time I learned how to work with the sellers out of India. Every every seller worked hard, every business has worked hard, long hours constantly. But for every owner, growth kept breaking. Not because effort was missing, but because structure was. What I observed again and again is the same pattern which keeps repeating. Founders are doing everything. They are not delegating to anyone. They were the decision maker, they are the policy maker, and the escalation point. When they pause, everything paused. Over the point, that becomes a ceiling. Not a lack of ambition, but a lack of capacity. Let me show you one story. Story of a one small founder. I will just name it a Rakesh. He is building a brand, and his brand is doing good. He was into a personal care brand, two products, selling very well, strong reviews. Everything was good, but everything was dependent on him. Every listing change, every supplier call, every policies he has to do by his own. Then what happened? When demand increased, chaos followed. Not because the product was bad, but because the structure and system was. Over several months, nothing changed. But as we grow, something got changed. And these are the things got changed. Processes were documented, decisions were standardized, and roles were created. The business stopped living inside one person's head. It started spreading. That is when it clicked me. Scaling is not about one person, it is about the design and system that we create. And this is where conversation returns back to India. When Indian founders don't build system, it doesn't just limit India's growth, it limits India's visibility in global commerce because exports don't scale in India, they scale on readiness. Global markets don't tolerate chaos. They need structure, they need system, they need predictability. Revenue stops feeling fragile, growth stops feeling uncomfortable. Even small teams can make a difference if everything is structured and organized properly. So, when my daughter asks me this show question, not in a trip, not at some store, not at a home, this question, Mama, will we ever see Made in India again? I will answer her differently. I will say yes, but only if we build product for the world, not for ourselves. Because the future doesn't belong to those who has already done $1 billion investment or to the factories like in China or somewhere who has already done good. Future belong to those who want to grow, structure, and who has the ready made, who has the product, who want to go. So to build a confidence, because when small Indian brands grow, it is not about that only they are selling the product. They are building a confidence. They are structuring themselves. They are creating and building the economy. They are creating a vision for the child that everything can grow. So when the next time when the world looks at the product, check the label. Where was this made? I want my daughter to grow up in a world where the answer is obvious, not silent, not rare, even not whispered. Made in India. Thank you.